and welcome to this episode of Unboxing Women, where we explore the gender gap in the music and entertainment industry. My name is Micah Rose, and with me is my friend Donna Rex, and we are here to reveal what really goes on behind the scenes. You can listen to us on our YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast platform. So, today we have a really interesting topic, and I don't think it's a specifically new topic, but it's a topic we find really interesting and deserves a little bit of in-depth conversation.
Yes.
So, Dana, tell us about this topic.
So we are going to analyze Disney, and not just once, but we have 3 parts. So we will analyze in part 1 the princesses, which is pretty important for, a feminist podcast to do. And then in part 2, we're going to have a look at the heroes. And part 3 will be the villains. Also pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I mean, we have to keep it equal, right? Everybody's always talking about equality. We have to keep it equal.
Yes.
To talk about the girls, we have to talk about the guys. And the villains are just amazing. So
they are. Yes, I'm looking forward to that one, definitely. But let us start with the princesses.
Yes. Thoughts, feelings.
Big spoiler alert. So, I just want to say this at the start of the show. We will discuss in depth what goes on in these Disney movies. So, but I mean, who hasn't seen them all? I've seen them all now because of the research that I had to do.
I'm sorry, you say that, who hasn't seen them all? And you
hadn't seen them all
before this.
I hadn't seen them all.
Go watch them and then come back. Or if you don't care about spoilers, you probably heard about most of them anyway, so it's not like it's going to be a huge surprise.
Maybe it's nice to hear our take and then go check it out for yourself and let us know what you think.
Yes, and then let us know. Exactly. That is actually a really good idea, because I watched these movies as a child and teenager, to be fair, and sometimes I still watch them now. So, but my first memories of them were from when I was really young. We used to watch them on video cassette. If you're too young to know what a video cassette is,
then you're not allowed to listen to this podcast, because then you're not 18 and this is an explicit podcast.
That is true. However, nobody gives a crap about that in Germany.
No, exactly.
That's just for the US.
Nobody gives a fuck.
So anyway, my earliest memories of these are sitting in our living room and putting the cassette in, having to wind it all back, getting spoilers from winding back the cassette tape.
Oh yeah, don't watch the winding back.
Yeah, don't do it. And then watching the movie. So I think I have so many fond memories of it, and then having to rewatch them now for this podcast was just so eye-opening. I mean, in the past years already, I've been watching some occasionally and just been sitting there and going like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on here? Because you don't realize it when you're a kid. And also, I mean, we've changed so much over the past couple of years that we just kind of, we're realizing now more and more how these gender roles and the stereotypes are all just so deeply ingrained, and how they were shown to us in those shows as well.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how it was for you, Dana, because having watched most of them more recently, I guess. But for me, it's very conflicting, because you love something and then you realize it has so many flaws. It's actually a little bit disappointing, to be honest. But then again, it was the time.
We definitely have to look at it within the time frame of when the movie was made.
A lot of people, we were talking about this recently, a lot of people have like a favorite Disney princess, and they kind of they do want to then act like that princess for a while. As a kid, you feel like you need to act like a princess, but those are your formative years, right? So you're learning a lot about yourself. I think still you learn a lot about yourself in your 20s as well, but I can't talk to further than that. But it's sorry.
I think we learn a lot about ourselves through our whole life. But in your formative years, you're right. A child learns by copying, really.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite Disney princess was Ariel. because she was a mermaid, and that was fantastic. And I love fantasy.
And
So
you wanted to
anything
be a
fantasy
mermaid.
is just great. I wanted to be a mermaid. I didn't necessarily want to be Ariel, but I wanted to be a mermaid, and I wanted to have powers, and I wanted to be special. And I think that's one of the things. You want to be special. You want to be kind of the girl that everything revolves around, because that's what these movies show you.
And you want the attention. Right? That's what a kid wants. That's normal. That's normal. Exactly. I remember, my favorite princess is Snow White because she had black hair, and the others had blonde hair, and I have very dark hair of my own. So that's why I kind of identified with her, like, oh my God, this is, she's not blonde. So, which at the time, in the 80s, 90s it was like a beauty standard being blonde, So True. For me, it was like, oh, Snow White. Okay, God, she's, dark haired like me. That's great. And how many times did I not, lay in my bed, like, as if I was in the glass coffin waiting for a prince to come and kiss me. So as a kid, you're not mature enough to say, oh, this is a nice character. I would like to have a part of her personality maybe in my personality at one point in my life. You don't do that. You just say, I want to be her, and you just you just are her. Children who see a movie that's nearly 100 years old today will be influenced by all these things that we have actually in our society now have passed already, and will be influenced by the misogyny, the patriarchy, and all the things that feminism has been trying for 100 years to get rid of.
It is insane. Like, little kids still have these things. I mean, you were saying that they are thinking of remaking some Disney movies.
Yeah, a while ago, well, they haven't done it yet, but a while ago there was this whole thing with, oh no, Disney movies of back in the day are, we need to change them. We need to re-edit them maybe. We need to take all this stuff out and bring them to the times, because of the fact that little children are watching them and that they don't have a perspective of history and they can't place these things. And they, like I said, I don't think they've done it yet. And obviously everything that's out on the market, you can't take everybody's videotape back but
it's
it's the debate of, how much of history do you keep as well? Because that was what the world was back in the day. So do you keep it?
Yes, I think the best thing to do probably is just to release a new version, as in just a new Snow White and a new, like a more modern one, because you don't have to ban the old one just to bring out a new one. Think of a new kind of twist, something that is, that everybody will be like, oh, I need to watch that because that was actually really good.
I think that's a great idea, because to be honest, if I had a kid today, I would not, I would not, a girl, I would not let her watch the Snow White of 37. I would definitely not. Because no.
Yeah, I mean...
and it was one of my favorite movies. If it's for kids, you should really have a look at what's out there, and as a parent, be careful what you show them. Just make sure that it is within your current norms and the way you want to teach your children, basically, and raise them. And also as companies like Disney, I think they should also hold that social mirror up to themselves and say, maybe we should do a new Snow White or a new Cinderella, and just have her be a little bit more assertive, or I don't know.
Not clean things all the time.
Going back to the princesses, the next one, actually, because I went a bit anal with this, and I've mapped them out in chronological order. And so the next one...
Which is actually really helpful.
It is.
Really helpful, yes.
Because you can see the evolution. So Cinderella was born in 1950. A girl suppressed by her older stepmom. I mean, that's for the villain episode, but there's definitely a theme in Disney throughout most of the movies where older
Vilifying
ladies are very much evil as fuck. It's about being eclipsed by some younger gal that the men then pay attention to. So, but I definitely have something to say about that in part 3 when we're going to discuss the villains. So stay tuned, everyone, for my opinion on villains in Disney movies. So Cinderella, oh God, Cinderella. She is weird. I think she's weird. When I look at it now, you know, she doesn't have any features, and the sisters, they're supposed to be ugly, and they kind of show it in the movie just by giving them features, which makes them recognizable, but immediately unkind and evil because they have features. So
because they have a nose and a slightly wider mouth.
Yeah, or not such big eyes. And so Cinderella she does not have one recognizable thing to her. She's
not
like
even
a blank
her hair.
No.
Like her hair is like one big, it's like, you know those things, Playmobil?
Yeah.
You've got like the hat of hair that's like one bucket of hair. That's what Cinderella has for hair.
Yeah, so it's basically a Barbie doll, and the less you stand out, the better. Yeah. She's also super submissive. She does not raise her voice once during the whole thing. We've talked about this before, about the voice raising, when we were reviewing Lara Croft, the old Lara Croft, played by Angelina Jolie. And that's just that was, for me, that was crazy, because as a kid, that had never occurred to me that, you know,
it's all that sultry voice, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, she's just happy and just always anything that everybody says. She just always like, but it's probably, it's probably me, basically.
Well,
she's being gaslighted too.
Yeah. But also, I mean, that was the ideal. Women were supposed to be softly spoken.
Obviously, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
She doesn't raise her voice. Anyway, and so she's been ridiculed, laughed at, harassed for years, and still she is not walking through the open door that's right there. Yeah. And she can clearly clean and cook and stuff and take care. She could get a job and get paid for what she does somewhere else if she would just walk through the open door. Why? She just sits there and cries a lot.
And gets herself locked in.
And she simply accepts whatever is thrown at her, and without any sort of personality at all, continuing to be kind to everybody who spits in her face. And when I see that now, it's so frustrating. But when I saw that as a kid, it didn't even dawn on me that she could just leave.
Yeah. Or that, like, it was it's strange because, like, she is so kind to everybody. She's even kind to her sisters, who are very not kind to her. And it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you be kind to people who subject you to so much suffering?
Yeah, let's be honest.
Unless
kids aren't kind to each other. Yeah, kids aren't kind to each other either. There's always...
Yes, and oh my God, she's a kid.
Yeah. 16, because at 16 you have to marry in the Disney movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
this pulls its way throughout, even towards the newest Disney movies. So that's not something they've left behind, which I find insane.
Yeah, no, 16 is insane. You're gonna be 16. Gotta get yourself a husband, like on the day of your birthday, because you can't be 16 plus 1 day without a husband.
After 16, you obviously wither away. You are worth nothing as a woman, and I mean, you're basically with one foot in the grave. I mean, we all know that.
Yes, we all know that. So let's fast forward to Sleeping Beauty. She's from 59, so that's 9 years later.
Sleeping Beauty, I watched like when I was in uni last, so well into my adult years. So it's not really something I remember from as a kid, and I remember watching it and being like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
I do not like this. This is so boring. Why is she acting like this? She's asleep most of the time.
She's asleep most of the time. Yeah. Again, like the victim, she's the victim and she's got to be saved.
Yes, and it's like, don't touch the needle. I'm gonna touch the needle. It's like Nemo with the boat and with the boat. Don't touch the butt.
But no, nobody. But Nemo is supposed to be. Nemo is male, right? Nemo is a boy. But let's just go to Sleeping Beauty. Nobody actually gave her the benefit of telling her about the spell. She has no idea. So what does she do? She goes and touches the needle. Because if everybody would have just told her, look, there's a spell, the witch did a spell, you need to stay away from spinning wheels or needles until you're well past your 16th birthday, because otherwise this and this will happen. And so that she could like basically help in, not fulfilling that destiny, because she would have known. No, nobody tells her. Nobody tells her anything. Why? I mean, they don't even trust the girl herself with the story of her demise.
Well, the thing is though, right? Why on earth, if you have this knowledge, why on earth would you not tell her? Like, why just ban everything? It's like, it's kind of like
because I don't know. Is she stupid?
I don't know. Is it like forbidden knowledge? Like, like nowadays when some big organization doesn't want you to find out about something, they ban the knowledge. Like in all those dystopian novels, they ban the knowledge so that you grow up like not knowing it,
right,
and being stupid. So is it just to keep her stupid, or I don't get it.
I don't see it. I mean, at least involve her so she can fend for herself. And so what happens is she's born, the spell is cast, they ship her off to a cabin in the woods. She meets this dude in the woods and like dances with him, and
which is not creepy at all.
Which is not creepy at all. And then when she becomes 16, so here's the thing, right? This is where the conundrum starts for me. I do not get the logic of this movie. The spell goes, on the day of your 16th birthday, you will prick your finger and die. Then the other fairies kind of they counteract it weakly, and she won't die anymore. She'll just fall asleep until true love's kiss. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody ships her off when she's born, after the spell is cast, to a cabin in the woods where she lives for 16 years. And what do? On her 16th birthday, when all of this is going to happen, they actually they take her out of the cabin, and that's the day they choose to move her back to civilization, on the day that this stuff is going to go down. Why not plus 1 day? Why can't she stay there?
I'm sorry, why did they even ship her off?
For
why
16
did they
years?
even ship her off?
I don't know, because it's about
if it's going to happen on the 16th birthday.
No.
You could have kept her for 15 years and 364 days and just locked her in a room on her 16th birthday.
Exactly.
Put guards everywhere, and that would have been fine. But
that would have been enough. No, you have to keep her away from civilization, let her be a hermit for 16 years, bring her back on the day.
Fall in love with the first guy she sees, because she hasn't seen anybody.
Exactly.
How did she even learn how to speak?
I don't know.
Anyway, so that's very strange.
That's very strange. It's very strange. So, but you know what the thing is there? It's because she becomes 16, she needs to get married. So that's why she needs to go back to her parents on her birthday. That's the reason. Okay, let's fast forward. The Little Mermaid, 89.
My favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies when I was younger. Not sure about it now, because when you look at it, she is, 15? 16?
She's 16.
She's 16.
Well, she's going on to her 16th birthday.
I feel like all of these girls look like they're adults.
They look like they're 21, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And they are 16. So I again, these are minors that should not be
sexualized
princes or sexualized. Ariel's wearing like a seashell bra
Woohoo!
Nothing else. And then when she goes onto the beach, she's just wearing a towel. So it's anyway. So she sells her soul because her father is an irrational, absolute douchebag. But then again, she's 16, so she really shouldn't be like wanting to marry this guy. But at the same time, she's 16. She's gonna have a crush. Come on.
She's gonna have a crush.
The best thing about this is she sells her soul and her voice. Right?
Yeah,
so she sells her voice basically, but not really her soul, but her voice. She sells her voice, and then goes to meet this guy. And this guy, it's just like, found a girl on the beach. She can't talk. Let's take her to my palace. Like, what the fuck? And this girl, she can't talk. She can't talk, but you're falling in love with her?
But let's take her away.
I can't talk. You don't know anything about her.
No, but she does want to go with him though. She does go with him. So that's fine
still,
then.
But during the days, it's like they're getting to know each other and putting like the what's it called, asterisks or air quotes.
Yeah.
Because they can't get to know each other. She can't talk.
No, but they do.
Like, I cannot stress this enough. No, yes, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, it is a bit weird if you look at it that way, but otherwise there's no movie, so they had to kind of do something.
Yes, but why is that the premise of the movie?
Well, that's the thing, right? It's always about this girl that's 16 who has to get married, so they have to like get her in front of some kind of guy at one point, because otherwise she can't marry. And if you can't get married when you're 16 on the day of your birthday, that's somehow very bad in Disney World.
And then he goes and falls in love with a girl who has her voice, who's actually the villain.
Well, he gets bewitched.
Just because of the voice.
Let's give him. He gets bewitched though. Yeah.
But then, as soon as she gets her voice back, he's like,
"Oh, it's you." They nearly kiss before the deadline is up to break the spell, and then the witch comes up with her voice. And so he's bewitched again, basically. Yeah. And he's just helpless as fuck. He's helpless. I mean, he's not the hero in this story.
No. Who is the hero?
Well, again, is
it the seagull?
It is the animals that come to her rescue.
Animal. Oh my god, it's always the fucking animal friends!
It is the animal friends.
We talked about this before.
Yeah.
The princesses never get anything done. But the animal friends, without them, there's no story.
The princes don't really do a lot, but we'll keep that for like the hero part 2. But the princes don't really do a lot, and it's always the animals that come to everyone's rescue. So all hail the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty and the Beast 91. Everyone, Beauty and the Beast. I had not seen it before. I knew about the story though, the songs kind of, but I had never seen the actual Disney version. And so, this Belle is kind of the first princess. Well, she's not a princess at the start, but she's the first one to say she doesn't want to marry or want to fall in love, and that there's something else out there for her. But then guess what happens in the end? They make her get married anyway. So that's a bit, I thought that was very anticlimactical. She is a very ambitious young woman who wants to, who has dreams for herself, and they just take it away in the end and have her marry and have her live again happily ever after. What happened to what she wanted to do?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is with Beauty and the Beast as well, is that it's just, she falls in love with her captor.
Very Stockholm Syndrome, yeah.
Yeah, it's Stockholm Syndrome. So it's...
well, he is a nice guy.
But so many things wrong with that, though. Why does that have to be the premise? Like, why is it always somebody takes princesses away and keeps them somewhere? Like, Rapunzel kept in a tower.
Because we're victims all the time. Women are victims.
We're victims all the time. So, like, things happen to these girls. They don't make things happen.
Yeah, we have no control over whatever happens to us ever. And we're always, captured in some way. And why are we captured? So that men can come and save us.
Yeah. Also that we can fall in love.
Instead of, because we have to fall in love with the guy who saves us. We wonder why we have a problem with
kidnapping.
Yeah, but I mean, we're always kidnapped or taken away or something has happened to us out of our control, and then a guy has to come and solve it. And obviously we're infatuated with that guy after that. It's
because
really
we're
weird.
What do we do now?
What do we do now?
New episode coming soon.
Yes, new episode.
But yeah, no, it's very strange.
I mean, let's segue into Aladdin with this thought, because Aladdin was 92, so that's just the year after. And guess what? So Princess Jasmine, she has not yet she's 16, again.
Big surprise.
A big surprise. Her whole life, she has not been outside of the castle grounds. So she's a prisoner. Every one of these girls is always kept as a prisoner. Yes. Why do you always want to imprison us? Stop it.
Right? Even Ariel, she could swim the 7 seas, but she couldn't go outside. And obviously she's not allowed to, actually, yeah.
No, I mean, but if you listen to your parents, that's maybe one thing, but always this, you as a parent, you can actually go for a walk outside of the grounds with your kid as well. So why aren't these parents taking the responsibility in raising their women, their girls correctly?
Yeah. Also, if Jasmine is supposed to be ruling the empire at some point,
exactly.
She needs to know her people. She needs to know her empire. They would take guys for years across the country and show them everything, show them the trade, show them the country. And women, they keep locked up.
Yeah.
Then again, you know what they're afraid of? They're afraid of other men taking advantage of her.
There you go. Again, the allyship is not there. That, the calling out other men is definitely not there yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's being forced into marriage, obviously, and it must happen before a certain birthday. So we're guessing 16. It's not said specifically in Aladdin, but let's just take 16 as the standard, because all the previous movies have that. And then, you know what her dad says to her? He says, it's not just the law that you're supposed to get married on your 16th birthday. So it's the law. And then he says he's getting old and wants her to be taken care of. Because obviously, he didn't make sure that she had a good education, and so she can't take care of herself, because that would have solved the problem entirely.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's not like she has a big fucking tiger as her friend who can take care of her. She has a
tiger as a pet.
Come on.
Aw, it's just weird.
Who's going to get past the tiger? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It's a very, very strange one. And then she meets a guy. Obviously she does, to be fair, she gets shown a lot of suitors that she says no to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she doesn't know her mind.
She's supposed to be the one that's choosing, so that's already great. So the girl now gets to choose the suitor, but not, none of them. What she actually wants is not to have to choose, because she just doesn't want to get married. So that's one of the first things here. After Belle, this one also doesn't want to get married and is not fooled by all the suitors, and that's it.
Yeah, and still at the end of the movie, she gets married.
Of course she does, and lives happily ever after. Pocahontas. 95. So
great year to be alive.
She, once again, The girl is a frivolous and carefree person and just wants to have fun, and the men around her seek to tame her and tell her what to do. But let's be honest, this one is different because for the first time ever, she does not get married in the end. She does not get married.
True.
And she does not live happily ever after with the guy.
I think she does in Pocahontas too, though.
Yeah, but
Sure.
The sequels, that's something else because they're all shit.
There's Cinderella sequels as well. No, but yeah, she doesn't get married, but I don't know. I find Pocahontas to be especially strange because there's just so much going on with these being people who are actually pretty cruel to the natives when they arrived. Like, it's really distorting history so much. And the actual Pocahontas story is very different. So, I don't know. They also don't speak the same language again. So it's really just communicating through
well, all of a sudden they do.
Gestures.
They see each other for like 2 minutes and all of a sudden they do everybody speaks English. Let's move to the next one. So now we have 97, which is Hercules.
Oh my God, Hercules.
Yes. And things have changed.
Watch it.
In 97. I watched it now. Yeah. And now the age is 18. No longer 16.
What?
Yes.
Wait, Meg is 18?
No, it's not about Meg. He is 18. So the narrative changes, and now that it's about not a princess but a guy is the main character in this movie.
You're kidding me.
It changes to 18, but we are in 97, so by then they probably said we have to change this age thing, and now it has to be 18 because that's really the age where, you know, at 16 people shouldn't get married. Meg
in the movie, she works for Hades because she sold her soul to Hades. This one actually did sell her soul. And in payment for reviving her boyfriend. So her boyfriend had died and she wanted him back. So she got him back and then he left her for another girl. So she's sworn off of love.
Yeah.
And basically is won over by Hercules because he's so kind and caring. Which actually he really is. It is astonishing. He is a really nice guy. I don't think he ever really does anything bad or weird.
No, he is a very nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a really nice portrayal. Also, another point to be said is that Hercules loses his powers to save Meg, but then Meg gets hurt, so he gets his powers back. And so then he goes and saves Meg and gets turned into a god, and then he is allowed to go back to Olympus with his parents, Zeus and Hera, and he decides not to, but to stay with Meg. So he loses his powers again, but he gives them up. So we talked about this before, that women in movies who give up their powers don't get them back, right?
Yeah,
but
right.
men get them back.
And they give them up for like the greater good, or like they don't give them up. They lose them for the greater good, not specifically for love. But in this case, he actually chooses to give them, to lose them. He says, no, I'd rather stay with Meg and be mortal.
It's his choice.
So it's his choice. Otherwise, when it was the women, it was never the choice to lose the powers. But, you know, it was choosing between losing my powers and the world falling apart. Not just, I want to live with this one guy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a really strange phenomenon, but I really like Hercules, even though there's still some issues. I mean, Meg is portrayed in an overtly sexual way, with a very deep kind of sensual voice.
She seems much older than him.
She seems so much older than him, yeah.
Which is also fine.
Or maybe it's because she's had a guy before, and so she has to seem more experienced. And because she's never had a girl before, And so maybe that's the only way they could portray a woman
Nice.
who's had experience before. She's no longer innocent. She's sultry. She's sexy. She's
Older.
She's experienced, and that's what they have to show. I find that to be absolutely what? Like
offended.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't think
with a
of
guy
that
before, or had a guy before. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter if you've had sex or if you've had loads of kisses or whatever. Doesn't mean you act that way.
No.
Like, what do you think we are, nymphomaniacs?
Exactly. No, that's a really good point. I didn't see that. Right. Meg is like super adult, isn't she?
Yeah. I think she is similar to his age, but it's just...
But it's not portrayed that way.
It's not portrayed that way. She seems like she could be like, if he's 18, she seems like she could be mid to late 20s.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Next one is Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
This is 1 year after, so this is 1998.
They're really hitting them out now.
Yes, we're hitting them out. I love Mulan. I had never seen it before. I think this is a breakthrough for Disney. I'm still not okay with a couple of things that are being said and done, but at least they are conscious of what's going on with women and men now. Now feminism is there. So I mean, there's a soldier sing along about having a woman to fight for. Like, what else are you going to fight for than a lovely woman to go back home to? Mm-hmm. And then Mulan says, yeah, one that speaks her mind. And they all go, nah, So that's supposed to be funny and everybody laughs. But the fact that they wrote that into the movie as a joke that everyone says, yeah, rather not have a woman that has a brain, is basically offensive. But isn't that just the point that they're making,
It starts with her having to get married.
It starts with having to get married.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It starts with somebody finding a match for her. It's like this tradition where...
a matchmaker.
You go to the matchmaker and they'll find a match and then you have to marry that person. You
have to marry that person. So this is coming back from all the suitors that were being chosen by the woman themselves. I mean, Jasmine had suitors come in and she would say, no. Here, there's a matchmaker and you have to marry the guy that she says so. But it doesn't happen. She goes off and fights the war as a man. Yeah. And then in the end, they find out she's a woman. And she won the war like single-handedly, and still the fact that she's a woman is more offensive to them than the fact that, but she just solves all your problems, so give her a break. Yeah.
But I guess that also comes from the tradition in China. Yeah. That your honor is worth everything. Yeah. So it's worth much more than anything else. So I think that is really playing into that tradition. And not necessarily it's because she's a woman. I think it's because she broke her family's honor. I really also love how at the end of the movie, or close to the end of the movie, she is such good friends with these guys that they dress up in drag for her and then get into the castle that way. That was like pretty cool. They actually listen to her and they don't care about being seen in women's clothing and stuff, because they just think it's fun, and also that's what they have to do to help save the empire. Yeah. So I think actually there's a lot of things, really, really good things that happen in that movie. Yeah. And Mulan is a really strong character. Like she even realizes she's falling for this guy and really doesn't want to in the beginning. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah,
I like Mulan too. Yeah. Mulan is a success. What's next?
Yes. I don't know.
I have 2009, Princess and the Frog.
Oh, Princess and the Frog. Did you watch it?
I watched it, yeah. Oh, and by the way, so just going back to Mulan, so she's the first princess. Well, we had Pocahontas, who is also not like
and we had Jasmine,
a white Caucasian
yeah,
person. Mulan
and
is
Jasmine.
Asian. Yes, Jasmine was North African. And now we have the first black princess in 2009. I mean, did we really have to wait until 2009 for a black princess? I think that's very wrong.
Probably not.
I really enjoyed the movie. It's pretty funny. But we'll discuss the prince maybe in I don't know. Is he the hero? Is he? He's not the hero. I don't feel the prince as being the hero at all.
No, he's not. No. He rides them into a lot of shit that she has to wait them out of.
And he's a dick while she's actually helping and trying to solve the problem. He's still being a dick.
Yeah. And then
and not helping.
She's being accused of not being able to have fun and just to kind of let go and have fun.
Yeah.
And like, she's fun. She's just like, you're in a situation right now where you're not going to have fun.
It's dangerous. God. So it's basically a crisis situation. And guess what? The woman takes control. I like it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't expect her to turn into a frog either. So that was like, oh, wow. You know, I thought that there was going to be this whole thing with she kisses the frog and he's going to be human and then he's going to do some shitty things as well. But it's the other way around. She turns into a frog and then they're also in deep shit. And then she's trying to get back and he's pretty cocky and doesn't help her. Not a great example for the boys, this one. And then at the end, all of a sudden, her dream has him in it. She has like this dream of having her own restaurant and this and that. And then at the end, this cocky bastard kind of has infiltrated and she's fallen in love with him. And now all of a sudden she can only get her restaurant because of him. What is that all about?
Also, not just that, right? What I find really interesting is that her whole life she's been working towards this restaurant. It's been her whole thing. And then somebody told her, I think might have been her mother before her mother died, is that, yes, your father wanted this restaurant, but he had what was important, which was love and family, right? So Tiana, has been working towards this restaurant her whole life, and then she starts falling in love with the prince, and she starts questioning whether she wants the restaurant or whether love and family wouldn't be enough. So she would choose him over the restaurant.
But why can't we have both, though?
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's the same thing. It's kind of like where you said Belle wanted to be independent and learn and travel the country. And then instead she's like, oh, but I'm in love now, so I'm going to get married.
And stay here.
And stay here. Or who else was it? I mean, Jasmine wanted to do so many things, and instead she got married. And they all give up their dreams for these men.
Yeah. Why can't they like go off and have a restaurant? And well, here they do have a restaurant together in the end.
Yes, they do. But she seriously considers it. It's a consideration. Yeah, I think she'd actually decided that she was going to take him instead of the restaurant, like that he was more important to her than the restaurant. Which, imagine that you have been working towards something for your entire life. You've been pulling double and triple shifts. You've been making do with really little in your life. You've not been going out with your friends. This has been your sole purpose. And then you fall in love with a guy you've met like for a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but if I have to choose between him and the restaurant, I'll choose him.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
How's that going to happen? That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And also, why can't she have both? Why does love mean give up everything else all the time? Why do they keep doing that? You know, if he loved her, I mean, in this case, she does do the restaurant, you know, because, but for example, Jasmine, so she wanted to go out and see the world, and then she marries Aladdin and they just live in the castle and not go anywhere. Why, when they're married, can't they just pack up and go see the world like she wanted to? Why does it always have to just end there?
You have a magic fucking carpet as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
Anyway.
I don't know. It's very strange. But anyway, let's move on.
Yes, I have one more. And that's
left.
Actually, that's my favorite one. It's 2012 and it's Brave. It's Merida. I actually appreciate that they talk with an accent instead of pure US English in this one. I think that's really cool.
True.
And, you know, I mean,
Disney gone global, basically. They've started taking people from outside of the US as voice actors.
Yeah, exactly. So I really like that it's you know, it's portraying a certain culture, but it is being very true to that culture in that sense of, you know, the accent and everything. I'm not saying that Mulan had to be in Chinese, but, you know, maybe that's an idea. I like Merida because she is, well, let's just say a tomboy. You know, she's not like a girly girl. And she does get told a lot, like, oh, you have to be a lady and you have to do this. And everything that is about being a lady, she's really shit at. And everything that she does with her dad and like be like the king stuff, she's really good at. And it's really, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
It is fun. I mean, the movie starts again with her having to get married. Just saying.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And it being a competition between 3 clans for her hand in marriage, so she has no say in it.
Nope.
So that is stupid.
Yeah. The thing is, they had to create this conflict between her and her mom to have the rest of the story make sense. But why does the conflict always have to come from, you know, push her into marriage kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. It's also interesting because you say she's a tomboy and blah, blah, blah. And yes, that's really cool. And that needs representation as well. But also, you don't have to be either or. You can be a girly girl from the outside and still really love playing football or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
You can be so many things, and you don't have to be either or. And that is still missing from this. Like, it's really great that they're portraying Merida in the way that she is, but it goes into either I'm completely feminine or I'm a tomboy.
Yeah.
Which there's so much more on the spectrum in between.
True. They do go over all these things, though. They kind of go over the whole list of what she's supposed to be doing as a lady. So the moment you have a vagina, these are the things that you are supposed to be good at. Okay. Eats pretty, stands nicely, speaks eloquently, and enunciates. Does not doodle. That was a funny one though, but yeah, still. Does not chortle. Rises early. Patient. Is clean. Not loud. You're not supposed to be loud as a lady. And it basically be, you know, that's what perfection as a woman looks like. And that's what her mom is going for and what she really hates. So, you know, they're going over all the normal women, you know, kind of things, but they do take a moment to tell us all the things she should have been good at that she's actually not. So I don't know if this is, you know, it's making a point that society expects women to so society is her mom, basically. It expects her to be this, and she doesn't fit into that. And at the end, her mom sees that all the things that she was good at, all the man things like like her crossbow and riding horses, hunting, and stuff like that is actually what saves them in the end. And that's how the perspective, well, both perspectives are seen by each other. So they basically have to...
they learn to communicate.
They learn to communicate.
They come together.
Yeah,
which is really nice, actually, because she's not a stepmom, so it's not the same kind of trope.
Oh, I like that too. That it's her real mom. Yeah.
Yeah, it is her real mom, and they learn to communicate and see eye to eye, or at least kind of be like, okay, I accept you for who you are, and you accept me for who I am, and we try to live with each other and love each other. And that is a more natural family kind of setting anyway. Like, if you've got siblings, you're all going to be different, and you're all going to have different influences over the years, and you're all going to diverge so far that you really need to be able to communicate and accept each other, and learn to kind of live with the difference.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, because, I mean, I think that's exactly the point that they're making. But sometimes I wasn't sure, because she goes off to show us how she is the greatest marksman and rider and hunter and provider. She's basically a great provider. But then how she's not allowed to do that as a job, because after all, she is a girl, she's a princess. So that's not what you're supposed to be doing. But if they had cast, if they had written her as a prince, then all these things would have been good enough for the prince. Yeah, he wouldn't have had to be eloquent and stuff. I mean, look at her dad. Yeah. He doesn't know, he's the king, and everybody accepts him as being king, but he can't even say 2 words to save his life in front of a crowd. You know what I mean? So why are these standards? Do women need to have these standards, but men can just like wing it?
Yeah. And also, men are allowed to be themselves and women are not.
No, that's true.
That is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, there's this guy in there, the slightly softer looking boy, who isn't good at archery and isn't good at all these things, and he is also ridiculed. So
he has
one
a
of the
temper.
3 princes. Yeah. So I don't know.
I love the one that you don't understand. I love that guy. He's so cute. He's so sweet. He's like the big burly one, but you don't understand a word he's saying, and that just makes him endearing, while the others are like smaller and tinier and always have to like be macho and that also shows a lot how
Yeah, I feel like they have shown the different sides as well
of men. As well.
Least.
Yeah. And for her, I mean, I love how her hair is frizzy and weird, and how she's super passionate and impulsive. I can definitely see myself in her as well. All the while, the mother becomes more and more annoying, like we expect mothers and older women to be. So that still is a little bit of the older woman is kind of a nag.
Yeah, I think it is kind of shown, though, that the mother also had to fit these criteria. That she wasn't necessarily born that way. She also had to work to become that way.
Yeah. That's true too.
It's learning to see the generational differences, that maybe things are different in the new generation, which I think is a really nice sign to be showing people.
Yeah. And in this one, the princess really proceeds to be the cleverest of the bunch, kind of by outsmarting everyone. And also in those games, she gets told off for it because she's showing how good she is. And demeaning the men, basically. She brought all these men to shame by showing how good she is at all the things that they should be good at, and that's just something that a lady does not do. But I still think it's good that they made her do that in the movie. So being more of a modern princess story, I think I think it's just a shame that they had to mix the what still seems to be a teenager girl, though, in with she has to be married now story. I just think that they could have created the conflict in another way anyway.
Yeah.
Because that really doesn't have anything to do with the moral of the story about the mother and the daughter getting along.
It doesn't have to, exactly. It doesn't have anything to do really with a marriage. It just has to do with the ideals of one generation and the ideals of the next generation and rebelling against that. So it doesn't really have anything to do with her getting married per se.
No, but I mean, I say that, but then you can't get to the end where they say, okay, at least in this one, they say, we are going to break tradition and everyone here will decide for themselves who they love and who they want to marry in the end. So without putting the marriage part in, they wouldn't have been able to come to this conclusion, which is a good conclusion.
Yeah, that's true. So in summary, we went from pretty bad to reasonably well adjusted.
Reasonably well adjusted, I would say. I'm actually curious to see which princess Disney comes up with next.
I still need to watch Encanto and
what's it
called? Rana or Raya or whatever it is, and then there's
Moana.
Luca. So there's Moana's nice.
Moana is nice.
Again, Moana, I don't know. We'll have to watch those and do like a
Let's
review
do a follow-up.
on newer ones.
Yeah, because it's true. Brave isn't the last one. There's Moana and there's a new Latin American one now.
Yeah, Encanto.
All right, well, let's do that in another episode. Thank you for tuning into Unboxing Women. If you've ever had an experience that you want to share with us, send us a DM or tag us in your post with the hashtag suchabitch. Or you can now send us an email on suchabitch@unboxingwomen.com. Don't forget to like us on Instagram. And my name is Dana Rex, and I've been chatting with Micah Rose. Tune into another episode of Unboxing Women next week. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.